Okay, everybody. I'd like to thank everybody for coming to the report out for the latest A3 event that we did here at Closet Factory. We did an A3 event on Job Ready. So this all started when we saw Brett on the shop floor. Watching Brett struggle on the shop floor, he was doing a process within the organization that we called Job Ready, where he made sure that all the parts were ready for the job before it could go out. And over the course of the last couple of months, we kind of saw it coming to kind of a head where we saw Brett walking around on the shop floor just a tremendous amount of time. And anytime you see an individual that is working really hard but extremely stressed out, that's a key indicator that something's probably broken in the system. So about a month ago, I sat down with Brett out when he was out on a break, and I sat him down and I talked to him a little bit, and you could see in his face that he felt like he was just really failing at his job. It was really kind of a heartfelt moment that I had out there with him, because he was really beating himself up, like in a really bad way. And to see a grown individual, break down like that in that real conversation that we were having, that was the moment that I knew that we needed to do something for him. So I told him, hey Brett, what we're going to do before we even start this is we're going to have a conversation with you upstairs with the team that we're going to put together to help with you with Job Ready. And we're going to really understand what your struggles are and what your current situation is. And we're not going to take our next step until we truly understand what your perspective is and where you're coming from. And only then, once we understand that, then we're going to go down and we're going to work with you. And Brett, we are not going to stop until you approve that this process is going to work for you and that you're successful. I don't care how long it takes, how many hours we got to put at it. I knew it was something that we just had to do for Brett. So we started that. We had that conversation, and then I got out of my office as a general manager here at Closet Factory, and I went down to the shop floor and I did his job for him. It took about 20 minutes, and I sat down with a gentleman named Tom that's part of this team. And I sat down and I said, I wouldn't do this job. No way. I've always said over the years that I don't ask any of my employees to do something that I can't do myself or willing to do myself. And this was a clear indication that just wasn't right. So, we had a meeting with the team, and I sat him down and I really challenged him. I said, we're gonna fix some stuff. I'm gonna push you guys and drive you upstream as far as I can. And this whole event, I've stepped in and out, but I haven't been whole hands-on with this event. I've been doing other improvement projects throughout the company. And so, this story is really theirs about how they drove upstream and challenged themselves and worked and used the tools and methodologies that they're going to be talking about with and-on boards, just-in-time, Jidoka, collecting the data, exposing the issues, talking about the issues, coming up with the processes, exposing more data, solving those issues, exposing more data, and solving those issues, and following the tools and methodologies that we learned. So what you're going to witness now is the team that is learning to come together and work together and use all the brains as a collective to come up and solve the issues. And that's the biggest part that I'm starting to learn at my role, is to not be the driver, but to help teach these guys how to take that team, how to follow science and data, how to set goals and work through the process and come to the conclusion. So with that, I'm going to step aside and let them tell you all about it. I'm excited. Yep, you're up, Brett.
Hi, y'all.
Hey, Brett.
So, I guess I'm doing the background. So basically, what I was doing was basically getting all the data and making sure everything's there, and making sure all the jobs are 100%. But at the same time, I was struggling with not all the parts being there, or not finding all the information on the sheets and stuff like that. And so I basically would run around all over the place trying to find all the parts, or having some of the crew helping out with certain items and stuff, and so I basically spiraled around to the point where I wasn't going anywhere with it. And I'm hoping this program like works out where we need to do it, where it's one easy go. And so yeah, but yeah, I was struggling trying to get everything squared away, and not finding everything, not getting everything, not on time, not finding everything where it needs to be, and everything. That's basically where I was coming from, where I'm at in time myself.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so I am gonna do the analysis. What we did, we analyzed what the process was and some of the problems he has. We're putting carts down in the job ready area that weren't 100% complete, and having to go back and forth to check those off again once you realize they're not done. We're 3 places we were checking off the status of those jobs if items were missing: the job summary, job ready notes, and the pull planning board. So, and then having to go back through that again and again if there were things missing. Not all the departments were putting things in the right place. So he wasn't sure if they were done. They weren't checking off things that were done, so he wasn't, again, having to go back and see if they were done and chase that around. Brett doesn't own the process. We all do right now. It's not that way. Brett, we kind of all are just dumping stuff on Brett, so we're trying to get that. That was the analysis, that we need it to be that way. And there's no fail-safe for Brett to do that process again. Once he puts jobs down, they're not complete. There was no method to tell him he needs to do that process again, to check it again to see if the countertop is now done or things are done. So it was just him having to remember to do that again. So we're trying to put some things in place to make that easier for him. And that was the analysis we came up with. So Tyler's got the current conditions now.
All right, guys. Morning. So current conditions, it's simply that. So we would start with the value stream map. You guys can see some of them up here already. Ours is up here. So you go through the process, map it out, and we just get the flow of information and materials, and find out based off of that where we're seeing issues. This one, we found that a big one was that we were doing this relooping process, so kind of what Alan talked about. We found in our PQA data, which is process quantity analysis, so we'll take our process, quantify some numbers, and analyze those. We took a sample of the 9th of February to the 22nd of March, and that was kind of arbitrary just to see how many jobs on average we do. The time frame doesn't really matter, that's just the time frame we chose. We were doing 1.6 million in sales through that time, which translates to 34 jobs a week. So what we know is that we should be doing this process 34 times a week. The reality is that 80% of jobs were repeating the process 3 times. So what this means is a cycle that should take 34 a week, we were doing 82 times in a week. So you can see here's just a spaghetti chart, and what that is it's about an hour or so of Brett's walk path. That's all it is. And we found that he was walking an average of 14,329 feet per day, which roughly equates to about 14 miles a week. And that's just, again, repeating the process way more times than we need to. So part of what we did as well, and what we're gonna talk about later, are these stick tally sheets. So we labeled this one piece flow, and what that was when we get to our job ready, what's stopping us from moving on. When we move those carts up, what's not ready. And then from there, we would jump into those things, create a process to stabilize those things and have them ready on time at that moment.
Well, good morning, folks. My name is Tom. I joined this group in May of last year. Previous to this, to give you a quick background, I started my first cabinet shop in 1964. Most of the products that we use now to make what we make that goes out that people buy weren't invented yet when I started. And I have had to relearn management from a really old position that none of you have had the pleasure of doing. And so what I'm gonna share is the process change, not only here on this floor and down on the production floor, but the process that had to change in my mind. I have been given the task here of looking at countermeasures to the analysis that Alan covered that we struggled with on the floor for production purposes. Now, I do want to vary for just one moment to say thank you to this man, because this meeting would not be happening if this man did not okay it. That's a big step in management. I have learned that in a different way in the last 6 or 8 months that I have been here. And thanks to the GM and a guy by the name of Mike, the processes here have changed dramatically. When I came here, there was not a board downstairs. This board up here was here, and from this area, they came down to try to help us manage down there. When they came up with moving the board down to clarify to us that look at the board and actually do the operation of the machinery, made such a big tremendous difference for the amount of product that went out the back door, like 33% more product by now from practically when I came here. That's impressive. And so this process that we are looking at is just a on hands way of enhancing each other in their departments to do a better job, be committed as a team all the way around to make sure the processes that we are being taught, we really do follow them, that we aren't passing off something small. I'll get back to it later. That's where part of our problem was, is we don't get back to it later because our memories now and the people that are pressing us to get something done made me just forget. I didn't get back to it and the problem started showing up. Well, they came up with a process to pull the cord if job ready is not completed on time. That's kind of a fun one for us because we don't know where the cord is, and so we can't pull it yet. Training for the pull plan board across all departments. That's coming up. We're gonna get some really on-hands training there. It's gonna take a little time for everybody to grasp, to get their minds locked around each one of the steps that's gonna be involved. But it's a process, an ongoing process that we are dealing with on the floor, and we'll all get better at it. We know that we're gonna need cross-training in the departments because a term that I heard since I came here is hidden restrictions. That there are hidden restrictions that keep the processes from flowing smoothly so that we move not just in time, but we're now pressing towards this one piece flow. And there are many pieces in these jobs. And to have a cart full on both sides of two different jobs, this is where Brett came into this, which made this all come about, was the amount of parts that are in the jobs that people have to track. And it only takes one person like me to not do his job, and we got a cart sitting there that can't be moved back for the installers because Tom forgot to put something on the cart, we'll say. So we are gonna have to process this cross-training because we got hidden restrictions in machineries and computers and in individuals. And we have to deal with all of that in order to keep production up to the level that we want. If we're gonna hit 36 hours a week because of our little group of people, then we really gotta stay on track. And that, as James is looking at me there, kinda, it comes from turning me loose to do something else because my job's done. If we do that with 7 or 8 people, we come up with 36 hours that we can reprocess, move me to someplace else where I can actually make you some money. One of the things that did come up, and I'm drifting off here a little bit, and I'm sorry, but when you're looking at countermeasures on here, one of the things that I put down and that I heard discussed is having vendors stack our supplies in the order that we're gonna use them when we take them, the forklift in and put it down. So if Savannah needs the brown sheet, it's the Pitts when it's on the bottom. So the coordination it's gonna take to do that, but it won't take too long, I don't think. I think Nick said it right the other day. Just tell the vendor that's the way we want it. And just get her done because we are moving. The reports that are supposed to come from us on this also are gonna be a help to us as we go back through with a report in hand of all that's taken place, check the board, check the employees' production schedule, everybody getting on the same page, because we went, since I've been here, we went from a plan chart that was all daily, right down to the hour of every day. So now they're standing there and Chris is going right down that thing, and when Tom ain't got nothing to do for a half an hour, don't give him a broom if he can go over to the saw, in other words. So that takes training and tracking as well. So anyways, we are working also on the rework management processes that are necessary when problems do show up and go wrong. If we can put those processes on a cart, so marked, somebody having the responsibility, then we can handle the rework part, get it onto the cart where it goes. And if you were downstairs now and you see the open areas where the carts were before, where you couldn't walk through when it was plugged up, and now it's open, because even in a couple of days, the processes are making that change, then there's gonna be big changes yet to come. And then the improvements on the board, on the planning board, that's gonna happen systematically, only because we are people. And one of the other things that I learned in all this is people are all really very smart. And if you tap the untapped talent of people, let them speak, let the people that run the machinery tell you, this is what I face, just like with Brett. Then pretty soon you got a whole different group of people working, because now the ones that are easily intimidated and don't want to get up in front of somebody and talk, we might be able to get them to express what it is that they face, and that's just gonna improve output all the way down the line, so. Thanks, folks.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So now we're talking about goals. So what we want in the future. And one of the goals we want is have one piece flow for every job goes through the shop. So to accomplish that, when that cart gets to the job ready, all the pieces and items for the job in specific has to be either on the cart or a job ready area. So that means all the big items like countertops, vacuum, drawers, it should be in a specific area for the installation team to load it up the day before the install. So that's one of our goals. one-piece flow. And also doing that, we'll, I think Tom talk about a little bit about eliminating 36 hours a week. So those 36 hours, that person can go and help different departmts, either CNC, edge bender, drawer, specialty. So all this is our goal. Another thing it will be eliminated is the job ready notes. So to accomplish that, everybody has to be on the same page. So that's where end on board, pool planning board comes handy, because everyone go there to that area and see what is the schedule for that day, for that hour, and they have to follow those steps. In the future, they're planning to set up a better end on board, including centralized clipboard area for the job summary, and also create a card labeling system. So that way, everybody can get the information from that spot. No more running around up and down to the shop to find information, because it's just a wasting time for everyone. And that's all the goals for right now. So thank you.
Good, good, good.
All right, I'll be talking about our plans. So our plans are how we're gonna use countermeasures to hit these goals and targets. So the first thing we did is we set up an hourly and on board, so anyone can see when Brett is on or off track. We set up training for the pool planning board, which we will continue to be doing. So I've set up a key for what all the colored sticky notes mean on the board. And then we are still working through this, but teaching the shop not only how to read the board, but setting up their own schedule throughout the day and not just using the board as a checklist. One of our future targets is eliminating job ready notes, which I know Don and Tom have mentioned. We will be doing that by directly checking off jobs on 3.0, because currently Brett is checking off the summary, the board, and job ready notes. So our goal is to just get rid of job ready notes completely. We've set up a stick tally and a cart for reworks, because previously every rework was just being dumped on Brett. We've set up a stick tally for items missing when checking off for 100% job ready. And we've also set up a stick tally for missing information on the summary, so we can correctly identify issues there. We set up tape and pens at the cart, so that way we can eliminate guesswork of what parts were in those specialty carts, because they were all jumbled up. And then lastly, by setting up an hourly pool planning board, we noticed to have drawer boxes ready on time, we're gonna have to cut them a day ahead. And then Brianna will be finishing up on the plan.
Okay, so observing more of our plan, if anybody takes a look at the service area downstairs, how it's kind of changed, Adon and I have taped off the floor, made things very visual as to where to place certain items. We've kind of carried that idea over into different parts of the shop, taping off of the floor, or taping off the floor. We're hoping to color coordinate departments, meaning, so if you're looking for something on a job summary from, let's say, specialty or drawers, in their job ready area, it will be labeled by color. That would also include taping off the floor so you can find that color and go find their completed items. So maybe the back of the cart is purple, and the summary tells you to find something in specialty. Specialty is labeled purple, you can easily find that. We would also like to color coordinate job ready lanes. If you kind of think about something close to like medical triage, if you step into the emergency room, you can code somebody maybe like green, yellow, red. Green meaning maybe they don't need attention right now, you know, they're just gonna kind of slide right through. They can go through their process and exit the hospital. We'd like to do that with job ready carts. So if something is 100% ready, it can go straight through the green lane. If something needs a little bit more time, it can sit in the yellow lane, which means it'll be done by the end of the day. If something goes to the red lane, that means that it's late. That inhibits our hopes to move all the way to one-piece flow. It also gives management the visual cue of pulling the cord to figure out why things are not ready 100% at the time of their job ready due date. Also, rods previously were set to the due date of job ready, meaning that they were cut the day that they were supposed to be looked over the job to be 100%. We've now taken that due date and set it back to the cutting for the CNC. So they simultaneously work with each other. By the time that you come to look for job ready 100%, those rods are already in their set place and you can easily grab them and push that cart through the green area and all the way to the other end of the shop that is 100% done. Some other things we looked at was the backing area. Because of the indicators that we have on all of our material pieces, they're very small. The stickers just have the job name and the number. We used that previously discussed tape that is now on all of the carts and the markers, so you can go ahead and put them in their correct grouping, label them, and you can visually see them from afar. Go ahead and count that grouping and then just check that off as job ready. Also kind of taking some other steps further to make sure that things operate on a just-in-time basis. We found that we were waiting for things like levelers to be put in when you're sitting in triage for job ready. We're hoping to back that up to be put in when you're running them off of the CNC before they even go through the edge bander. We're hoping to do the same thing with things like scribe and trim, so that at the point that cart comes off of the end of the edge bander, that trim and scribe is already done. You don't have to go looking for it, wait for it to be cut. It can go straight through job ready to the 100% completed side of the shop. Thank you.
Damn.
Yeah, so I'm gonna steal this real quick. I'm gonna show you guys some quick pictures of what we have done throughout this process. Just take a quick note here, guys. Let's see. Check this out. So, guys, what do you think? Isn't that, look, these guys just told the story of how they took something that we haven't been able to face for the last 5 years and everything that we've kind of didn't know what to do with. Well, we got a team together and they just reverse engineered this entire process. The whole shop floor is revolutionized to one-piece flow. And they did it themselves. As you can see that they walk through all those steps. They realize, how do we reverse engineer this process? What needs to be on time in the correct location? How to use the tools and methodologies, and how do you work it all the way back? So this is actually after we moved the CNC or this edge bander over to create lanes. So we had a holding area. So that's called just in time, where we sat there and we didn't let past that line, and we forced ourselves to expose all the issues that we had so then we could work upstream. That's when we started collecting the data of all those carts down there. This is where we started setting up the 3 lanes that that Brianna was talking about. These are some of the new working surfaces that they created to help support the new system. This is a new cart that they created for the rework process, so that they can manage and control it. Again, so it's really about containing all these issues and containing them in an area to where before we would just kind of keep pushing them through. And so it's just the tools and methodology. This is where they talked about labeling. So we had a labeling issue with like the specialty carts and where they go, where the parts go, where they're found. Let's see, yeah. And then you just watch this whole thing progress, where we started creating, we got together as teams, we started creating an hourly full plan board. This is their A3 sheet. So the sheet that you guys all have in front of you right there is this is the bigger version of it, where we consolidated it down to a digital form. This is all the data that they collected. This is them having a little meeting about addressing one little issue within the specialty area. Now, take a note, a lot of times what happens is we get our heads wrapped around, well, it's not gonna work for this one thing. Well, we try to come up with quick solutions and bring it back to the 80% rule. We want a process to work 80% of the time, while having tools and methodologies to collect the data so then we can fix those actual issues there. and all the way back to the team's just progressing toward the pull plan board, all the way up to here with that pull plan board. They're having a meeting. This is our first huddle about the pull plan board. That's Chris working on his pull plan board as we're learning how to do this. He knows how there's no carts there anymore. And then this is a picture of the whole team. So you got different teams. So you got this team that's talking about what it's like for running the CNC. Everyone here is talking about timing the CNC. Savannah's talking about her setup reduction for the day prior to what's the order that we're cutting. These guys are over here. These guys are they're doing like the ray fixing. They're doing the flip ops. They're doing the reworks. They're the support kind of go between all these things. And then you see Don and Tom and Tyler talking about specialty, because we had to rethink of how we did specialty and figure out how to have the timing for all those things to line up. And they built this whole team. So the main takeaways is, you know, the learning how to bring a team together to discuss all these things, so we can reverse engineer so they all flow and tie together and become one big fluid system. So just off the basis of eliminating a job ready job for Brett, we saved about 7% of labor hours on the shop floor. But then when you reapply that to, Brett's gonna run a CNC now, instead of running around with these really thick calves because he's walking 17 miles a week. He's gonna get to go run a CNC. And guess what? When he runs that CNC, he's producing $514 per hour on that production floor, or $18,000 a week. So, you know, he's gonna go for that one move, this one event, we're gonna go increase our throughput on the shop floor from $254,000 per week to $272,000 per week. And it's just in this one improvement event. And as you notice, it's not necessarily all about just the improvements, but it's really the team coming together and creating solutions and really alleviating people's real struggles. So I just wanted to end with the thank yous, and the first person I got to thank you is Will Ferris, for letting us do all these things. If it wasn't for him to allow us to do this, we wouldn't. This is very unique. This is today. This is
Leadership.
Like seriously, you know, Will, thank you for allowing us to do this.
No, it was great, guys. That was awesome.
As you can see, this is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it's
Just
cool.
like I say, this ain't normal, guys.
It's not normal.
This ain't normal. So it's really cool to work in an environment, let alone be an owner in an environment like this. And it's not me creating it, it's you guys creating it.
Yeah.
So I'm here to help you and sponsor you guys and give you any little wisdoms I might have. Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Will. I want to thank Brett. He had a lot of courage to sit there and tell us what his struggles are. Brett's life looks a lot different than ours, and you know, so we understood how his brain works, and we quickly found out that we were setting him up for failure. We were having him. He had 3 different priority lists. Each priority list was in the opposite order. They were all meshed up. There's like 90 different outcomes of that priority order, when really he just wanted to know, what am I doing first, second, third, fourth, and fifth? And so we helped work through that. Thank you, Tom. Conversation with Tom, and it clearly said, oh, I need to bring you into the process. And so you guys just witnessed the value. And he told his story about his personal growth. That's pretty profound for anyone to be able to tell the story about his personal growth, especially at his age. He's owned cabinet shops his entire life. A lot of that I know how to do cabinetry comes from him and what he taught my father, and that my father taught to me. So I thank you for that. Alan, thank you for joining this. I'm glad that I knew that you would be the person to lean into this. Your knowledge on the shop floor and your past experience and leaning in, you've been a huge help to this team. You have some of the greatest ideas, and if there's ever a lean mind that works like a lean mind, that's Alan right there. So I appreciate Alan for that. Adon, You know, Adon's pretty hard on himself. He's a very smart individual, extremely smart individual. I get to sit and share an office with him, and he's so brilliant. And so for him to push himself and grow and learn about this process and take it to the installation team, I think out of all the people I know, I think he's pushing himself the absolute hardest, and I appreciate that. Just 100%. Chris, dude, the shop floor, pull plan board, everything, your cool, calm collectedness that you have down there, you're an amazing leader for the shop floor. Amazing leader, and I appreciate that and everything that you've done so far. Brianna, being a huge part of you know, this process. You guys take a note that Brianna just went through her own A3 in service. She faced a lot of personal growth through that A3 in service, and as you guys could tell, she comes up here and she just articulates the process. She gets it. She can explain it way better than I can. It's just amazing to have her part of the team. She's by far a lean leader in this group, and she's led many events. Supported many events. I always, whenever I get spun out or lost, I always turn to Brianna to reel me back in, put it in perspective, help me through the next set of the process. And then Tyler, you know, in order for Tyler to be able to do this, he did a lot of work in this Kanban area downstairs. So he earned the hours to then reapply himself in this process. And he led this process and led it really well. And every time that we got hung up or stopped, you know, we just took a step back. I can always have a conversation with him. We talk about where we're at and what's the next steps moving forward. And then when it comes time